Where's MYLA?
Yeah.
Wave to the camera.
She was a tiny thing in the hospital. I mean, she was a tiny little peanut. It was pretty scary because she had tubes in her nose and she was in an incubator and she had little eye things over her eyes and she just was a tiny little peanut.
A few weeks after she was born, she was in the NICU, and the doctor from the NICU was really curious as to why she was so small. So he asked if we could do a DNA test, and we said sure, but it was going to take a few weeks. So a few weeks afterwards, he called us up, and I happened to be in the hospital, and he said he wanted to talk to us. So he showed up and he brought us a packet on Trisomy 18 and a packet on Chimerism, and pretty much said, "I'm sorry, I don't really know what to say."
The doctor didn't know really much about it. Like, he didn't really know like what the chromosome makeup meant for her and anything. So we just got like a packet of what Trisomy 18 was like.
And it
mosaicism and
wasn't really a good outcome from what we saw in the packets, and so it was.
But I mean,
it was kind of scary.
But at the same time, it was like she didn't. Most of those kids, like we read, had trouble like
breathing.
The first 2 weeks. A lot of them had trouble. So
survive.
It's very confusing because he dropped his packet off, but MYLA was doing so well. So he just suggested we go see a geneticist,
some specialists, to try to figure it out.
Explain.
So I mean, I think I was afraid to like let her go to sleep on her own for a while after we got home because I didn't know.
Well, and also she was like this big too.
Very delicate.
She was only 4 pounds.
At that point, yeah. So it was kind of scary.
Ooh, up to the sky you go. Up to the sky. That's a birdie. That's a birdie. Yeah, can you fly like a birdie? Can you fly?
Lord on the bus goes beep, 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 beep. The wipers on the bus go swish, 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 all through the town.
Yay! Yay!
Trisomy 18 and chimerism, it's a genetic condition, and when we found out that she had it, we really didn't know too much about it, and when the geneticists tell us, it's really kind of over our head. They try to tell us as much as we can, but as far as we know, there were potentially 2 sets of DNA that merged together, and one of them happened to have an extra 18th chromosome. So she has some cells, one set of DNA is completely normal, and the other set has an extra 18th chromosome.
I tell you, when they said that they saw a uterus and 1 ovary, I was just like, yes! Or did you feel like you wanted to cry?
I did.
That is such a good sign because they might not have seen the other ovary because she's still little yet to even tell. Because normally don't they wait till they're 2? And she's just a little peanut, so. Yay! It was so hard to read the ultrasound, to see what they're looking at.
I know. I just see blobs.
Yeah. It's like deja vu when we were going like every week. We'd have an ultrasound, was it twice a week?
Twice a week was the ultrasound.
For her.
Twice a week was the non-stress test. Look at you. Are you trying to leave? Are you trying to go bye-bye? I mean, I just want to make sure she's physically okay, and, right after we found out about the results, it's like, am I ever going to be able to, is she going to be able to have kids? Am I going to be a grandmom? Not that Jake's discredited, but, it's different.
Like when we do an ultrasound and find that she's got a uterus and 2 ovaries, I mean, how is that going to be in her body with her being mostly male? That's my question.
The endocrinologist today said that if she has a uterus, then she shouldn't have testosterone.
She shouldn't have testosterone, but her chromosomes are saying male. Are they going to be fighting each other within her body? Or?
He's going to test her. He's sending out lab work. We're going to get it done on the 25th, but he doesn't seem like he's too concerned.
I think it's been hard on Jake a little bit. Not only the typical sibling, rivalry of fighting for attention, but there's a lot of times that we are so concerned, and you know, especially when she's throwing up and he's like, "Mommy, I want apple juice," and we're like, "Oh, she's throwing up," and then it takes an extra 10 minutes than it typically would. But he loves her. He is such a good big brother, and he's got a good heart. So
he used to wake up and he used to crawl into her crib, and they would play when she was younger.
And they just hang out, and then he taught her how to jump on the bed, and so he's a good big brother. That's a computer.
You want to see?
They had a couple of cases where there was Down syndrome and chimerism, so there was an extra 21st chromosome. But Down syndrome in itself isn't really fatal. I mean, there's complications, obviously, and cognitive issues, but most people with Down syndrome can grow up and live a normal, healthy life, whereas with Trisomy 18, the majority of children don't make it to birth. The ones that do, the majority of them don't last more than a year, just because of all the internal complications with their organs. But, I mean, her organs we've gone through and had everything tested, and for the most part, they're good. It's just, she gets sick a lot. She had pneumonia a couple times. But the geneticist said she's writing her own story, so we're just hopeful that she'll be an inspiration.
Yeah, and geneticists point out too that not that many people actually get DNA tests, so no one really knows the full extent of everyone's DNA makeup. So they said there's mutations out there but they don't know. You know, there could be millions of people, but like not everyone gets a DNA test right when they're born. So
MYLA just happened to be, they were
so
curious about her because I did have complications when I was pregnant, and she was so tiny and she had stopped growing. So, we're hopeful that she will, inspire more people to do research and to kind of figure out, the differences in human genetics.
What does a kitty cat say? What does a birdie say? Tweet, tweet, tweet.
MYLA's future.
kind of wild.
She is.
She learned how to walk. She just didn't stop climbing. And she watches her brother and wants to do everything he does.
Yeah, she's got a very strong personality. I hope that she grows up and becomes successful. And now that she's older, I mean, at first we weren't sure. Babies just, they lay there and they eat, sleep, cry, poop. You don't know if they're going to ever be able to talk or walk, or so that was hard for us. But now that she's kind of making it through those stages, the sky's the limit for her, I hope.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. MYLA sing?
You sing Twinkle Twinkle.
Come on, everybody. Twinkle, twinkle.